Like, just go straight in, give them what they want, then circle back and get the rest of it. The LPMAMA from 10 years ago is dead. Get rid of LPMAMA, focus on ALM. Welcome to the Whissel Way Podcast. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty Group here in San Diego.
And I am Bryan Koci, your co-host with Whissel Realty Group here in San Diego, the media and marketing director.
I love it. So the goal of the show, guys, we'll take this bad boy off, but if you want them, custom gators, branded, these are pretty sweet swag for your team. Goal of the show, guys, is to give you the tools and techniques that you need to go out there and crush it in your business, whether that be real estate, mortgage, or really any business out there. The way that we like to do that is to answer the questions that you have for us. The way we get those questions is via our Facebook group, The Whissel Way. If you guys want to join that group, you want to subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, find out about upcoming events that we have going on, you can always do that. Just go to thewhisselway.com. We would love for you to be a part of all of the fun that we're having, especially during this quarantine, right? We're finding new ways to have fun with House Party and some of these poker and Zoom and Poker Face. If you guys have never played Poker Face, that one's a kind of fun one. So we're finding new ways to have some fun out there. So, Bryan, what's the question today? What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, so we got asked this question. We didn't ask me anything on the group late last week. When you see this, when this podcast airs, it'll be a couple weeks ago. But someone asked about your buy or die plan. And I knew we've talked about this in the past. I looked it up and I found a talk you did on stage at Tom Ferry in 2016. So I know we've tweaked it a little bit since then. And I wanted to really focus this podcast on kind of lead follow-up plan from basically what we do within the first 30 days, how we segment these groups. And I know there's a popular mindset of the 33 touch program, where you're supposed to connect with leads or customers at least 33 times a year. And I know we go above and beyond that. So I kind of want you to break down all of those in this quick 15-minute podcast.
All right. I'm just going to throw this bad boy up on the screen here. This is what we refer to as the buy or die plan.
So real quick, if you guys are listening to this on the podcast and can't see this, Kyle, what's the best way for them to get this?
If you want to see this, you would go to our YouTube channel, which again, you can get to go to thewhisselway.com. That'll connect you with our YouTube channel. And then this video is also being live streamed in our Facebook group, The Whissel Way. So either one of those, you could see the visuals that we're talking about if you are just listening to the audio version. And first and foremost, before I dive into the plan, I hear agents all the time talk about this lead source is good, this one sucks, this one's great, this one's terrible. Like, more often than not, the people that are saying this lead source sucks or these leads are terrible, it's usually the person who doesn't have a plan. So first and foremost, before you go and invest, don't ever talk about spending money on leads. You don't spend money on leads, you invest money into leads. Before you invest money into leads, invest some time in a plan that you're going to follow when those leads come in. Okay. If you don't have a plan, what's that saying, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Like, that's what's going to happen. So make sure that you have a plan in place. I love it, Mark. Yes, the agent is terrible if they don't have a plan. It's not the lead that's terrible. It's you most of the time. So
and it's okay. I mean, this is the perfect time. If you don't have a plan, you can look at ours, you can copy ours, and then tweak it to fit yours. A lot of times I think we get caught up in the day-to-day in the business, and we get really busy. This quarantine time right now, where the stay-at-home order has really given us to take a step back and make a lot of different plans on the back end for us. So if you guys don't have a plan right now, that's okay.
Shut the lead flow off until you have a plan. And
build out the plan.
If nothing else, there's your advice from the show. So what I want to do here is dive into this plan. We call it the buy or die plan because we literally follow up with people until they either buy or die. We don't give up on leads. We just stay on them. We just adapt the plan accordingly based on the communication that we have with them. So the way that this works is when a lead comes in, first thing we're going to do, speed to lead's everything. If you are not following up within a minute, you are falling behind. I know Robert Slack, one of the top team leaders in the entire country. They pride themselves on following up with every lead. I don't remember the exact number, but it's within seconds. It's not minutes. They're talking seconds today. Minutes is a thing from 5 years ago. So you really got to be on top of things, because the majority of these lead sources today are sending these leads to multiple people. Well, if it's going to multiple people, first person who gets in contact with that lead is usually going to be the person who's going to set the appointment with that lead and ultimately have the highest probability of converting it. So speed to lead is everything. You got to make sure you get on the phone with somebody as fast as humanly possible. Something that we took from a friend of mine back in Massachusetts, Lisa Chinati, came up with the term war dial. And what that is lead comes in, pick up the phone, dial. If they don't answer, hang up, pick up the phone, dial. If they don't answer, hang up, pick up the phone, dial. Call them 3 times in succession. Now, immediately, what I bet you're saying when you hear me say that is, oh, but they're going to get so mad at me. Really? Are you really worried? What are they going to do? Beat you up through the phone? It's not going to happen, okay? Get out of your own head. Do yourself a favor and get out of your own head. Nobody's going to beat you up over the phone. They're not going to drive to your office and kill you. Like, it's not going to happen. So get that crap out of your head. They don't know who's calling. They don't know the difference. And in all honesty, they see a number that comes up they've never seen before. Like, I don't know. They see it come up a second time. Like, oh, who is this? They see it come up a third time. All right, I got to answer this phone. I need to know who this is. That's what happens. That's what goes through the psychology. And if in the unlikely event they get pissed off and they want to yell at you, just say, hey, sorry, I was having some issues with my phone, the Bluetooth. So I apologize if it called you more than once. And then roll. Don't stop. Don't wait for them to yell at you. Just go. So we always start with that war dial. If we're unable to connect with somebody via that war dial, I do recommend leaving a voicemail on the third one. When you leave that voicemail, or if you connect with a person, make sure to reference the lead source. What I see people do all the time is they get overly concerned with like, hi, this is Kyle Whissel with Whissel Realty Group in San Diego, and I wanted to follow up on your inquiry. Like, they don't know who Kyle Whissel is. They don't know who Whissel Realty Group is. They don't know who EXP Realty is. They don't know any of that crap. All they know is they hit a button on Zillow and ask for more info on 123 Main Street. When you get on the phone, say, hey, Zillow asked me to, this is Kyle, Zillow asked me to connect with you regarding 123 Main Street. Start with that as your open. Tie together the property that they inquired on and the source that they inquired on. You will be amazed at how much better your conversations go when you tie together the question that they actually asked you about. Instead of trying to tell them about your company and your full name and all of this other stuff, they don't care about that. Not yet. You got to give them what they want. One of the analogies I use, and this really hit home for me, I came up with this while we were in Vegas, is if I want to go gamble, let's say I want to play some blackjack, and I go up to the blackjack table and the dealer wants to ask me like 40 questions as soon as I sit down at the blackjack table. And I put the $100 on the table and they start asking me question after question after question after question. Like, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk away, because that's not what I came to the table to do. I didn't come to the table to get asked a million questions. I came to the table because I wanted to play some freaking blackjack. So what is it that actually happens when you get at a blackjack table is you put the $100 on the table, they give you some chips and they start dealing you some cards. And then they start asking you questions. Where are you from? What brings you out here? Give the people what they want first, and then circle back around and get what you want after that. So
another way that I hear agents all the time do, and I hate this as an open, is, hey, is this Kyle? Immediately, or like, is this the owner? To me, immediately, I know that's a call that I don't want to talk to. So I love your idea of just saying, hey, this is who I am. This lead source asked me to follow up with you on what, because they're going to say if it's Bob that filled out the form, but he put his wife's name, you're going to connect with the right person. So I like that a lot.
Yep. So then you're going to follow up with a text message, and the same thing. Text messages. Hey, it's Kyle. The team at Zillow asked me to connect with you about 123 Main Street. When would you like to see it? Like, just go straight in, give them what they want, then circle back and get the rest of it. The LPMAMA from 10 years ago is dead. Get rid of LPMAMA. Focus on ALM. Zillow is running studies. It's working. Appointment, location, motivation, go. Fill in the blanks when you get to the appointment. Okay. You're sending a text and then a video email. Video email is huge. When you send a video email, we love BombBomb. We love using what they refer to as a hostage board. But what happens is when they open that email and they see their name on a whiteboard, they immediately are like, ooh, that's something like personal for me. The open rate goes to the roof when you do that, as opposed to it just being your face on camera. So war dial, text message, video email. That's what happens. And that all three should happen within minutes. The call should happen within seconds, and then you should follow up with a text, follow up with the email, get all that done immediately. So we make that happen. Now, if I had contact with the person, I'm going to qualify them and determine which bucket am I going to move them to. Am I going to move them to hot, which would be in our world, that's 0 to 30 days. Nurture 31 to 90, watch 91 to 180. If they're over 180, they're archive. If we have 0 valid info, then they're trash. And only if we have 0 valid info are they trash. So if I call and it's a bad number, but I still have an email, I'm not trashing that lead. That's still a valid lead. I only trash a lead if I have no valid contact information.
What if it's another agent or someone trying to sell you, I don't know, home insurance, something like that?
Bye. They're trash because it's a waste of my time. I don't want them to clog up my system. Now, if I want to recruit them over, then
I would say send them my way.
And I might put them into my recruiting funnel, but we're setting up an entirely different system for recruiting because I like to keep things separate. When I'm following up with leads, I need to be in the lead mindset. When I'm following up with recruits, I need to be in the recruit mindset. So we're separating those two out. So I'll DNC somebody in Boomtown, which is our primary CRM, but I might open them up in Attract ROI, which is our recruiting CRM. So those are all the different categories there. If I don't connect with somebody, then they become part of my buy or die plan. In that buy or die plan, we're essentially calling them every day for the first week, every week for the first month, and every month thereafter. Thereafter means until they buy or die. We do not stop. We call them a minimum of once a month. We text them every week for the first month and every month thereafter. And then we email them. We get them set up on e-alerts every day, assuming it's a buyer. Boomtown calls it an e-alert, whatever your system calls it, where you drip property matches on people. You need to get that set up because the number one most responded to email is an email that has a property somebody's interested in. It's not a magic script. It's not a magic video. It's nothing. It's, oh, that property looks interesting. Hey, Kyle, when can I go see this? That's what's going to get people to respond. So make sure you get all your buyers set up on e-alerts. If they're sellers, get them set up on home value alerts. You could use CoreFact. You could use HomeBot. There's a bunch of other systems out there, but make sure you get people set up on that. And then we make sure that we get people set up on bi-monthly video emails. So we send 2 emails a month that have a video. We send those through Viral Marketing, VYRAL. We send 2 videos a month out to everybody. And those e-alerts, those CoreFact alerts, those viral videos, those are going to everybody. So whether they're part of the buy or die side of this or we qualify them, those go to everybody. The other parts of this, if we go up to our hots, we're hitting our hots every week. So if somebody's truly hot, they're acting within the next 30 days, I need to talk to them a minimum of once a week. So what I recommend is that every Friday you go in and say, who's hot that I haven't communicated with this week? Hit them every Friday. Hey, Bryan, I haven't talked at all this week. I want to see what properties you want to go see this weekend. Just that's your conversation on Friday.
And as I've been digging into Boomtown, I'm sure this is true with other systems, but you can create smart segments that you don't have to create this search every time and literally just have it pop up. You click one thing, you see them all, you send them to dialer, you're good to go. It's easy. Yeah.
So we hit our hots every week. We hit our nurtures every 2 weeks. We hit our watches every month, and we hit our archives every quarter. And that's ad nauseum. That doesn't stop. We constantly stay in touch with people. I literally just landed a monster, won't call it a contract, but just a monster opportunity where there's a lead that came in our system 7 years ago. And I stayed on top and had those bi-monthly videos going out to them and had e-alerts, all that stuff going out. And over the last 7 years, this person has accumulated well over 100 units here in San Diego and is now selling all of those units and has given us the opportunity to help him sell all of those units across San Diego. So I think that call was 2 weeks ago. We've already listed 7 of them in the last 2 weeks. So that's somebody who was in their first 7 years. Like, we do not give up on people. We stay on people until they buy or die. So the key here is just have a plan and have a system that you can follow. So like those hots, hit those every Friday. Those nurtures, essentially try to hit them the 1st and the 15th of every month. The watches, which you tend to have the most of, and the archives, just try to hit them the first week of every month, because you're going to have the majority of what you have are going to be watches and archives. Just hit them over that first week of the month, because those are the best phone calls to make. Is like, hey, Bryan, it's Kyle over at Whissel Realty Group. You know, it's a brand new month. I wanted to check in and see where things are at for you with the home search.
And like, another trick that I
make.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, those are easy calls to make.
The another trick that I found is, because you're building up automations for these groups and all that sort of stuff, but there are some that slip through the cracks or the automation has been paused. Another thing I like to do is I like to sort by last communicated. And if I, depending on what your follow-up plan is if you plan to speak with them every week, and so say you're looking to contact your HOTS every week, you just look at all your HOTS, sort them by who you contacted longest ago, and work your way down that way. So if the longest you talked to someone ago was 6 days, you're good to go. If you've got in there people 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 3 weeks, whatever, you need to hit them up.
Yeah, that's the buy or die plan, Bryan.
Cool. Well, that's good. It's a little more, or it's updated since 4 years ago, so I like that. And so we talked about database segmentation. Obviously, we've kind of touched on the 33 plus touch plan. Maybe that can be something that we go into more detail with. We kind of talked about
another video.
Yeah. And obviously different sources are different, but cool. All right. Why don't you bring us into the widget?
Yeah. So what we like to do is share what we call the Whissel Widget of the week. And that is something that we are utilizing in our business that either saves us time, makes us more money, or just generally helps us have more fun. So with that said, Bryan, what are you sharing this week?
So mine saves me time for sure, which lets me be a lot more efficient. Also, I'm a big fan of gadgets, so it's a lot of fun. But I was having issues with my old mouse. I was using a Logitech G602, cool looking mouse, wireless. But when I started working from home, it stopped working. So I got a new mouse. You can see my old mouse had buttons here on the side, a couple on top, whatever. My new mouse has got a lot more buttons. So I think it's got 3, 6, 9, 12 buttons here on the side, plus another mouse click here on the side. So when I hold this down, I can remap all of these buttons to another key. So this is the Logitech G600 and was like $40. It's a wired mouse, which I actually really like. But yeah, that's my new gadget. I'm using it for helping me refresh websites, going back and forth, copying and pasting. I even have one of the keys to where I press that key and it brings up my smiley button. So that is my widget. It looks like Kyle just bounced out for a quick second. He should be back in. There he is. There you go.
On the side of my mouse.
Did you refresh it?
That they go back and forward on web pages. That's the default.
Yeah, that's the default. That's kind of what I figured was happening. I was wondering if maybe you refreshed it. But yeah, that's my new widget. Again, it's got like 24 buttons I can customize. I've customized 6, so I'm almost there. What's your widget, Kyle?
All right, my widget is literally something that you touch hundreds of times a day and don't harness the power of it. Some weird lead in, huh?
Yep.
What that is this little device right here, known as an iPhone, or you might have an Android phone. But there is a very, very powerful thing built into this in Siri. Siri is your best friend, and I feel like a lot of people don't use Siri enough. The thing that I use Siri for, number one, is just to remind me to do things. There's so many times, right? We're like pinballs as realtors. We're like bouncing all over the place. And it's like, oh, wait, got to call this person, got to call that person, got to go do this, got to go do that. We forget things all the time. You can very simply just say, hey, Siri, remind me to shoot a podcast with Bryan next Monday at 2:30. And I got my headphones on, but automatically she just popped that right there into my calendar. And it's now going to remind me next Monday at 2:30 that I'm going to shoot a podcast with Bryan. That feature is so freaking powerful because we forget these things all the time. And so you have an assistant already. You just don't use it. So use Siri. The beautiful thing too is if you're using a Mac, my computer is now going to remind me of that too. So not only am I going to get a notification on my phone, I'm going to get a notification on my computer as well so that I don't forget about things. So if you're like me, like 99% of the other realtors out there, and you forget things all the time, Siri is your best friend. If you don't have an iPhone, you have an Android, and you could just say, okay, Google, which I actually have a Google Home on my desk here. And she reminded me about this podcast at 2:30. So whether you have a Android or an iPhone, just say, hey, Siri, okay, Google, and you leverage this to your advantage. So that is what we got for you guys today. I hope you got a lot of value out of this and have things that you can take and implement in your business immediately. If you have questions you'd like to have us answer here on the show, or you want to connect with us, find out about events we have coming up, get connected on our Facebook group, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, just hop on thewhisselway.com and we will get you connected to all of those things. With that said, Bryan, any parting words?
That's all I got.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of The Whissel Way. We'll talk to you soon.
Wait. Before you leave, I want to share some more tips and tricks that we're using in our business to take it to that next level. Just click right here. And don't forget to subscribe. Click right here.